नमस्कार आणि येवकार तुमकां प्रुडंट मिडियाच्या आमच्या सप्तकी कार्यावळीत जागोर आणि आयचो जागोर आमी घेतात अर्थात इफीचेर इंटरनॅशनल फिल्म फेस्टिवल ऑफ इंडिया 42वा 42nd इफी इज ओवर जस्ट येस्टरडे आणि त्या हातूंतल्यान हो इफी वेगळो आशिल्लो काय कितें वेदर इफी इज चेंजिंग we are discussing it and we have three great personalities here and one of the personality like this year IFFI secretariat was formed. It was not director of film festival but IFFI secretariat and there was a steering committee and heading this steering committee is one of the great filmmaker Mike Pandey who is basically makes films on environmental issues. He is the one who has been awarded with continuous 3 green Oscars at international level and almost 300 awards. Internationally he has taken and we have with him with us here Mike Pandey and then Supriyo Sen, basically a documentary filmmaker, a short filmmaker who has won almost 40 awards all over the world internationally, and the third is our own Lakshmikant Shetgaonkar who has brought glory to Goa and India by getting award for his Poltodso Munis, also for his short film Eka Sagar Signari National Award. So all three of you please welcome to our studio and Mr. Mike, will start with you. Has IFFI really changed this year?
I think if you look at around you will see there is a definite change and I think it's bigger. If you look at the foreign delegates that have come this year in the film bazaar or at IFFI and the number of films that have come and especially ones that were not invited, those came voluntarily. It shows that and the mixture is very good, the package is very good. There's definite evidence that it is growing bigger, it has improved, it's become in many areas more organized, more needs to be done but definitely improved and going a good way. I'm quite happy with what's happened really.
We'll discuss about all these things later. Supriyo, what do you feel? Basically the short filmmakers always have a complaint that they don't have much place in IFFI and they are ignored and all these things. Do you think IFFI has changed from that point of?
But it's changing slowly. Like I mean, for last few years they are showing the short and documentary film with the feature films and programming it in the main auditoriums like INOX, and so it definitely gave more exposure to the short filmmakers. But I think, I mean, in a country like India, we should focus more on young filmmakers, irrespective of short film, documentary or feature filmmakers. But we should focus on young filmmakers, like all other emerging established Asian film festivals. They have strong focus on first time filmmakers, second time filmmakers. They have major competitions for the first time films, second time films. So I mean that way you create your I mean new generation, you support them so that I mean Indian cinema and the audience can I mean keep on watching good movies and I mean and you have a inflow of talents for the future.
Lakshmikant, what is your feeling? Because for the last 2 years you have been saying, shouting that IFFI needs to be changed, and then there was a committee on which you were also there at national level, and you had said, you told me last year that see from next year everything will change. In what way it has changed?
Since last year the government of India has formed an expert committee to look into all the aspects of this festival, including the content part of it and organizational hassles that we have seen in a couple of years, and they have decided that this festival will be managed by the film professionals, which it seems has worked really well. And as far as my frank opinion is concerned, this present IFFI was fantastic. It's a very good start. It is handled by the film professionals, like the steering committee consisting of Mr. Mike Pandey and all those who are involved in the film industry were part of it. And if you see the content of the film in this year, it was very good. The kind of films which I have watched, they were fantastic. The competition section has a really great films. Even the world cinema, the films which were invited from abroad, they were of high quality. So I could see the role of the curators or programmers in building up this festival in terms of content. And as far as organization of this IFFI is concerned, there are so many shortcomings. But this will not change in a day, because for a simple reason that IFFI Secretariat has its office just a month before or maybe 2 months before the festival. So IFFI Secretariat needs more time, you know. If they are given an office about say 6 months before the festival, it helps a lot to organize things, because now IFFI Secretariat to some extent is also dependent on the Entertainment Society of Goa, which is looking after the accommodation and transportation and the basic logistics. Yes, so it has to done in a more comprehensive and coordinated manner. And I guess if it's a good start now, so maybe probably next year this would definitely improve. I'm very optimistic about it.
Yeah, I think we are starting in January, not in May or June. The next IFFI, we are already going to prepare from 1st of January. We are getting into action, setting up all the coordinates and connecting with all the people all over the world. But as Lakshmikant said, we need to establish a firm base here, residence for the director, for example, where he is to be found round the year, and the office has to improve. We have already a very good office and a good position and place, and it's made a difference. But already IFFI is moving from January onwards, and if that happens, then we'll be able to manage it much better. And there's a tremendous amount. I met the Chief Secretary also. He's been very, very supportive, and the type of things that go into making a festival will come forth, and even the ESG can benefit from this. So the idea is a collaborative effort to bring together a solid, powerful film festival that is Indian in nature. And it's not about feature films only, it's about short films also. They're an integral part of the communication of the film medium, and that is very important. And in the future, we are hoping to target that world premieres take place here.
Exactly, I was going to ask you that, because in the open forum there was a demand also, and many people suggested that you should get world premieres here.
We nearly managed to get 2 films that were going to do the world premiere, but the agency, one is from America, Kurt Hoffman, who I know very well, I met in Australia. He was going to bring his film here, but Kurt couldn't bring his film because he couldn't prepare the 35. There were certain specifications, he couldn't meet those, and there was a shortage of time, 2 or 3 days. So we need latitude, but if we start ahead of time, so we're not neck to neck with the closing and the cutting down dates. So that is again positive. If we start in January, we'll have plenty of time to think, talk, and we don't need to invite award-winning films only. We need first-timers, as we just mentioned, that we need newcomers. And there was a lot of energy. If you look at Film Bazaar and everywhere else, a lot of young people. And exposure to these people, to the master classes and others, are so beneficial. If we want to leverage ourselves and be at par with an international fraternity of filmmakers, if you're vying for green Oscars and things like Oscars in Hollywood, then we need to change our styles, adapt. We have our own identity, we have our own films. We are not trying to imitate Hollywood or match with Cannes.
But has the prize money made a difference?
I think
because it is one of the biggest amount, I think,
if you look at
any international film festival is offering.
You see, if you look at internationally, the prize money is the biggest, the largest. I don't think there are any other that I can think of immediately who offer such a huge prize. So it is a great attraction. That's why this year you had lots of other people who sent their films voluntarily.
On their own, yeah.
But what needs to be done, we are like a jewel in a deep ocean. We need to be seen, heard, and that brings me to the other most crucial aspect of a film festival. We need ambassadors who can travel across the country to major film festivals and talk about IFFI. And then it gets known. We showcase what we are doing, we have little packages, and then we invite people.
So basically the system which was there earlier, like last minute somebody comes as a director of DFF, and then somebody sits and randomly whatever is there, you select some films and show it as world cinema. So that whole scenario will change?
No, I mean, the idea was to make it at an international level, the hold this festival on an international level. Like in Toronto, they have their own office, which is a huge office, you know, and which operates throughout the year. And what happens in this office, you know, they have programmers, they select programmers who visit all these festivals, they keep an eye on very good films, they pick up the films, they suggest to their office, and that the office, you know, negotiates with the film producers and gets the best film. See, just giving the prize money is not good enough. I mean, of course, prize money is a big factor, and that's why, as you said, more films have come. But if you have to go beyond it, work it over the years, get as many films over the year, and that will actually, smoothen the functioning of the festival, and that's very important, because if we improve on our organizational pattern, I think people will come to India or Goa to attend this festival.
What I mean, you have any specific suggestion, because you also have been touring?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of IFFI, I mean, I have something to say about the short film
short
competition
films we'll
here
discuss
also.
later on.
Yeah. But in terms of IFFI, I have some definite suggestions, like there has to have some kind of Asian debut competition here, because all the important film festival in Asia, like Busan Film Festival, the biggest in Asia and one of the biggest in the world, their main competition is Asian newcomers. You see Singapore Film Festival, Shanghai Film Festival, all of them have a very strong Asian debut and second film competition. I mean, that way we also encourage filmmakers from our country and Asia. I mean, we can have South Asian or whatever, but that
So
has to be
basically
there.
you're
I mean,
proposing
debut and second film
Basically, you are
competition.
proposing a third category, like besides Indian panorama, that should be Asian.
I mean, besides international competition, there must be a debut competition where we actually, create the space for upcoming Asian filmmakers or Indian filmmakers, whatever. Because this kind of festival has a very definite role to create the space for new generation of filmmakers. Anyone can go to Berlin, Cannes, Venice with their films, but you have to create the space so that they can reach to that point that where they'll be able to make that kind of films. But you have to provide them a platform before. So IFFI has a very important role to play in terms of creating space for first time, second time filmmakers.
We'll
Yeah,
just
see,
discuss-
that
yeah.
brings me to the point. You see, the thing is, right now the festival is growing, it's burgeoning, and there is not enough space really. And you see, we need a couple of more theaters, we need a convention center really, and just like you mentioned just now, we need a theater dedicated to Asian cinema, where the debuts can take place. People who are interested in Asian cinema should go to that theater. Every evening there's something from Asian giants playing there, Asian masters, Asian students, Asian newcomers. So it could be around Asia. Supposing somebody wants Asian films, so he shouldn't go to ABC or look around and flounder. That's the Asian theater where debut directors and all the top brains, storming writers, everything is there. So it becomes more India-centric, and India becomes a leader in promoting Asian cinema. At the same time, a global perspective. So we are at par globally, at the same time not neglecting what is a very crucial part, our own filmmakers.
Yeah.
And then supporting, because India is a giant.